Hello and welcome to the maths webinar for this Your Frightful teacher event. I hope that you've been earning lots of ghosts during this week to be in with a chance to win a beautiful Halloween hamper full of treats, no tricks I promise, and also a £50 gift voucher for Amazon. So keep earning your ghosts, and thank you so much for attending this webinar. I hope you have your notepad, you have a pen, pencil, or you have some technology to be able to start writing down and working out calculations. For the calculator section, please do use your calculator, and for the non-calculator, don't play any tricks. Don't cheat. Please do not use your calculator. Okay, there's going to be some terrible Halloween related jokes, such as I'm dead excited to do this, and also let's crack on. So, Your Frightful Teacher Maths webinar. What we're focusing on is exam skills and problem solving. Very important in many parts of the paper. So our plan for today is to split this with a couple of recaps and also to practice some exam style questions. So for the first section, we will be focusing on fractions, percentages, and ratio. And then we'll work through some questions together, some exam style questions. Then we'll go on to solving equations and looking through that. And then after we'll play and execute on some of those exam style questions as well. So thank you so much for participating. And it's really great to see that you're taking this initiative during the half term to reinforce the great learning that's happening in your school. So, fractions and percentages of amounts. Now there's these three quick fire questions. If you're familiar with fractions and percentages, this should be reasonably achievable to deliver within this time frame. If you're not, don't worry, we work through it together. So, I want you to answer these three questions and think about how you would do it as a non-calculator question, and also how you would do it if you were allowed a calculator. And I will set the stopwatch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, find 3/5 of 60. Then find 25% of 60. And finally, find 45% of 12. I think I can hear those keyboard and those pens and no, I can't. Okay, stop. You done? Well, let's just have a little quick check. Let's work it through now. Did you get the same answers as me? So find 3/5 of 60. Well, in order to work this out, what I would recommend is that you find 1/5. So how would you go about doing that? On the non-calculator paper, 1/5 of 60 is 60 divided by 5, which equals 12. So what I've done there is I've took the total value and I've divided it by the bottom number in the fraction, sometimes called the denominator. But what I've done is I've divided the total value by the bottom number of the fraction to get 1/5. So that's why it's 60 divided by 12, 60 divided by 5, which equals 12. So now that I know 1/5, I need to work out 3/5. So all I need to do now is times it by that top number. Let me show you. So 3/5 of 60 equals 12 times 3, which is 36. Did you get that answer? Now, if we're doing it on a calculator, if you've got that fancy scientific calculator with the fraction button, you simply need to press that fraction button and enter the 3/5 metrics. You times it by 60 and you get 36 instantly. So very simple if you know. And hopefully if you didn't or you forgot, this was a little helpful reminder. Now let's look at those percentages. Find 25% of 60. Well, 25%, if we was to turn that into a fraction format, we should know that it's a quarter. So if we know it's a quarter, what do we need to do to the total value? We need to divide it by 4. Because again, we know the total value, we've converted it into a fraction, so we're going to divide it by that bottom number. So 60 would be divided by 4, as we have here, which equals 15. Now, if you have a calculator, please use it. Don't let any mistakes creep in. So if you're allowed to use a calculator, please do so. So just simply use that percentage button. So 25% times 60 equals 15. But if you want to convert it into a decimal, that's very easy to do as well. So 25% converted into a decimal is 0.25. You times that by 60 and you get the same result, of course, 15. So again, we'll try another percentages with some different numbers thrown in. So 45% of 12. What I personally like to do here is work out the 10%, the 5% of that total value, as well as maybe 1% if I don't have such a clean number like 5 there. But I'll show you what I mean now. So on the non-calculator, 10% of 12 is 1.2. So 40% of 12 is 4.8. So what did I do there? I worked out what 10% was, the 1.2, and because I needed 40% to get close to 45, I times that by 4 and I got 4.8. But I need to work out that extra 4%. So 5% of 12 is 0.6. I simply just halved this because I know 5% is half of 10%. So half of this number is 0.6. And then I want to know what 45% is, so I just add these together. And I'll move my face. Scary, I know. 45% equals 5.4. Hopefully you got that answer as well. Now, calculator. Again, very straightforward. Use that percentage button. 45% times 12 equals 5.4. If I convert it into a decimal, 0.5 times 12, same answer again. Right, so that was fractions and percentages recap. Hopefully that's all awaken us and our brains are stimulating and we're ready for the next one, which is splitting ratios. And I want you to answer these questions in a minute. I know there's a time pressure, but it's really good to be short, snappy, really having an attempt, seeing what we know, and then we instantly find out whether we're really competent with the subject matter or if we need to really listen in the next section to fully understand. So let's play. Bill and Mary share £140 in the ratio of 2 to 5. How much does Mary get? That's question 1. Question 2. Bill and Mary share some money in the ratio of 2 to 5. Bill gets £12. How much does Mary get? So it is about ratios, but but presented differently. So let's see how you do. You have a minute. Ready, steady, go. Bill and Mary share £140 in the ratio of 2 to 5. How much does Mary get? Then we have Bill and Mary share some money in the ratio of 2 to 5. Bill gets £12. How much does Mary get? $15 more seconds. Boo! Time's up. Hopefully you didn't jump too much. These are my terrible jokes, I know. Let's see how we did. So let's take that first question. Bill and Mary share £140 in the ratio of 2 to 5. How much does Mary get? So let's line this up. Let's show our workings and line this up. So if this specific question has more than 1 mark, we should always be showing our working. So let's give it a go. So let's line this up. So we've got Bill and Mary in that ratio format. 2 to 5. We're following the same pattern as it's been communicated to us. So how many parts do we have? This is the most important thing, and this is where sometimes there can be some little mistakes creep in. The most important thing is to understand the total number of parts here within this ratio. So there's 2 parts and there's 5 parts. So if we add them together, we have 7 parts. So in order to work out 1 part, we need to know the total value, and that's given to us in the question. We know it's £140. So in order to work out 1 part, we need to divide the total value by the value of 1 part. So it's 140 divided you need to divide the total value by the number of parts. So it's 140, which is that total value, and the number of parts that there is 7. So 140 divided by 7 equals 20. So the value of 1 part is 20. And we know that Bill has 2. So that means it's 2 times 20. It has 2 parts. So we're going to times 2 by the value of 1 part, which gives us 40. And we know Mary has 5 parts. So how much does Mary get? Well, it's 5 times 20. 5 parts times the value of 1 part, which equals 100. And I work out both, so I can just double check that it does work to the total value. But then we need to be very clear to the examiner and say, Mary gets £100. Please don't forget that. So we need to be really clear. And I work out both, so I can just double check that the total value that I get here matches with the total value that's in the question. And then I'm very clear here that Mary gets £100 to ensure I get 4 marks. So hopefully you've got something similar and you've got that working out to get those extra marks. So question 2. Bill and Mary share some money in the ratio of 2 to 5. Bill gets £12. How much does Mary get? So here what's quite interesting is that we do not get the total value. So we need to think about this slightly differently. Let's line them up again. So the same split is there, 2 to 5. And we know that Bill has 12, but we don't know what Mary has. That's what the question is asking us to find out. So here's how you do it. If 2 parts is 12, then how much is 1 part? Well, we simply divide that value by the total parts in question. So 2 parts is 12, so that means 12 divided by 2 gives us 6, which is 1 part. And we know how many parts Mary has, which is 5. So then we just do 6 times 5. So 6, 1 part, times the total parts that Mary has, which is 5. And we get 30. So how much does Mary get? She gets £30. Hopefully you got the same as me. So that was a quick recap on those 2 questions on fractions, percentages and ratio. That's hopefully stimulating your brain now so we can focus on some exam style questions. And here is one of them in the problem solving section that we would get, and I would move my face up to this corner so we can see more of the text. So Kate, Jack and Harry took their driving theory test. That was quite scary to do when I did mine. The total of the test was 30 marks. Kate got 23 marks. Jack got 70% of the marks. Harry got 5/6 of the marks. Who got the highest mark? Here's the problem. We've got all this data presented in different ways, and we need to figure out now who got the highest mark. We know the total value because it says in the question that the total of the test was 30 marks. So let's work out Jack, because we already know how many Kate's got, and we want to make a comparison in terms of who got the highest mark. So we already know that out of 30 marks, Kate got 23 marks. So we're going to move to Jack, who got 70%. Again, when I'm using a non-calculator, I like to work out 10% and so on, just to make it makes it so much easier for me to do the math. So 10% of 30, 10% of the total value, which is told into the question, is 3. And I know that Jack got 70%. So I just need to times that by 7. Let me show you. So 70% of 30 is 7 times 3, because I want to get 7 10% to make up 70%. 3 here is the value of 10%. So that's 21 marks. At the moment, Kate is still in the lead. So what about Harry? He got 5/6 of the marks. Again, I work out 1/6. So 1/6 equals 30 divided by 6, which gives us that answer of 5. Do we know how we work that out? We've got the total value, we divide it by that bottom number of the fraction, and that gives us the value of 1/6. So dividing it by that bottom number, that's why it's divided by 6 here, gives me the 1/6 valuation, total value here, which is 5. So if it's 5/6 that I need to work out, then I just need to do 5 times 5. So I'm doing 5 times 5, which gives us 25 marks. So who got the highest mark? Oh, Harry got the highest mark. He got 25 marks. Kate came in a close second of 23, and trailing behind is Jack with 21. Not sure if what the pass rate is though. Okay, the second problem that we need to work through is there are 80 passengers on a train. 3/10 are men, 45% are women, and the rest are children. Work out the number of children. So again, the data is given to us within the question. You can highlight it. We know the total value again here, 80 passengers in total. And then it's just presented to us in the data, that is in a fraction format and a percentage format. So let's work it through. Let's start with men. So 1/10 of 80, the total value is basically 80 divided by 10, which gives us 8. I want to know what 3/10 are. 3 over 10 of 80 is simply 8 times 3, that top number, that gives us 24. So there's 24 men on the train. In terms of how many women are on the train, we have 45%. So again, I work out that 10%, and I'd also work out the 5%. So 10% of 80 is 8, 5% is 4. So 40% is 8 times 4. Now do not get confused. I'm not taking this 4 number. 8 times 4 is regards to I want 40%. So I'm timesing this number by 4 because I want 40%. Okay, it's not the 5% answer here. That can be confusing, which equals 32. And I want to add the 5%. That brings the total, which is 4, which brings that total to 36. So I know that there are 24 men and that there are 36 women, but I want to know the total number of children. So I add those two values together, 24 from men, 26 from women, and I get 60. And I know that the total value of passengers, the total amount is 80. So I simply do 80 minus 6, which gives us 20 children. That's the answer. Okay, here's another question that we're going to work through together as well, just to familiarize yourself with everything. David makes 120 sandwiches for a party. He makes ham, egg, chicken and cheese sandwiches. Not sure why he's having a party in this current climate, seeing as we've got restrictions, but okay, we'll let this slide. What we need to work out at the bottom there is the number of chicken sandwiches made. But what's the data that we have? We have the total value, 120 sandwiches. We know that 1/6 are ham sandwiches, 25% are egg sandwiches, and the ratio of chicken to cheese is 3:4. So let's work this out. Ham. We'll start with ham. We work our way down. So 1/6 of 120. Again, I've got that total value. I'm dividing it by that bottom number of the fraction to work out what 1/6 is. Thankfully, that's what they're asking for as well. So 120 divided by 6, that's that 120 divided by this number, which gives us 1/6, which is equal to 20. So we have 20 ham sandwiches. In terms of egg, 25%, we know that it's 1/4, or hopefully we know that 25% in a fraction format is 1/4, 1/4. So we divide that total amount by that bottom number of the fraction, which would be 1/4, so it would be 4. We divide it by 4, we get 30. So the amount of egg sandwiches that there are is 30. So ham and egg sandwiches, 20 plus 30 equals a total of 50. Now the chicken and cheese, what's left? Okay, so we know that 1/6 of the total is of ham is 20. In terms of 25% of those being egg, we know that the total is 30. We now need to remove them from our calculations moving forward. So we get clarity on the ratio between chicken and cheese. So we get that total amount and we minus 50 because we've added these two numbers together. So 120 minus the ham and egg sandwiches, which is a total value of 50, gives us 70 left. And now we're going to work out the ratio of chicken to cheese with 3:4. So let's work out how much one part, how many is one part. Why did I divide it by 7? Well, look at this. The ratio, the parts add up to 7. 3 plus 4 is 7. So one part is the 10 sandwiches. And we know that for chicken we have 3 parts. So we do 3 times 10, which gives us 30. That's what they wanted to know. So that's why I've highlighted it there like that. And for cheese, 4 parts. And I work it out just to make sure that when these two add up, it gives me the total amount that was left over. So because there's a 4 there, I do 4 times 10, the value of 1 part, which gives us 40. Okay? Hopefully that was a good walkthrough. Now we've had that walkthrough, what I'd like you to do is to attempt this key question, and you've got a little bit longer. You've got 3 minutes. All right, I shall start my timer now. So Johnny is organising a charity gig. He expects to sell 100 tickets for £25. 1/10 of the money received will pay for the band. The rest of the money will be donated to a local school and hospital in the ratio of 2:7. How much more will the hospital get than the school? So important to read through these questions once clearly and do it again as well. Then start trying to work it out. Just checking the time. How you doing, guys? just over a minute to go. Last 30 seconds, everyone. So hopefully you're showing you're working. You've worked out the total value. And then from that, you can work out the 1/10. You minus that from the total value. And then you can start doing the ratio section. Boo! That was my attempt to make you jump. Okay. So let's work it out. Total value. Let's start with that. Let's get that first piece of data in this puzzle. So the total value. We know there's 100 tickets at the value of £25 per ticket. So we do 25 times 100 gives us the total value of 2,500. Now we need to work out the band fee. So hopefully that refresh of the fraction section has made this easy for you. So 1/10 of 2,500 is £250. What have I done? Total value divided by the bottom number of the fraction has given me £250. And because I only need to work out 1/10 there, I've just left it as it is. Okay, now we're going to move on to the ratio bit, but we need to figure out the money left. So I'm getting this total value, I'm minusing the band fee to find out what's left to be able to be donated, and that's a grand total of 2,250. So the donation, if I want to work out this ratio, again, I'm dividing the money left, the total amount of money left, by the number of parts. And you work out the number of parts by adding these two numbers together. That's 9 parts. So one part has a value of 250. So the school, it has 2 parts. So I do 2 times the value of one part, which is 250, which gives us 500. And the hospital has 7 parts of that, so it's 7 times 250, which is 1,750, 1,750. So the question here though is do not stop there. Make sure you get that bottom part of the question. How much more will the hospital get than the school? So that means you need to get this figure, because this is how much the hospital is getting, and you need to minus that school figure, and you get 1,250 more. Make it very clear to the examiner, and that's where you get all of those marks. Okay, here's the next one that we're going to work through. There are 90 milk and white chocolate buttons in a bag. There are twice as many milk chocolates as white. Emily eats 2/5 of white chocolates and 35% of the milk chocolates. Work out the ratio of the number of milk chocolates to the number of white chocolates now in the bag. Write your answer in its simplest form. How many words were in that question? And examiners do that. They make it very, even in the maths exam, they can make it very wordy because they're really trying to challenge you. So simply break it down. Take it sentence by sentence. Read it through once and then take it sentence by sentence. Don't get tricked by them. Okay. So we need to be working out ratios. So we know that there's 90 milk and white chocolate buttons in total. We have the total value. And we know that there's twice as many milk chocolates as there is white. So that's 2 to 1. There's twice as many as there are 1. So 2 to 1 is the actual ratio. So if that's the case, then how do we work? We get the ratio of 60 to 30, but how did I do that? Have a little think. What do we know about working out the parts? We have the total value. We divide it by the total number of parts here, which is 3. So 90 divided by 3 equals 1 part. So for the milk, 30, the value of 1 part, times how many parts that of milk there is, which is 2. That gives us the 60. That's why it's here. And for the white, it's 30, the 1 part times 1. It only has 1. 30. It's the same, right? Okay, so now we need to figure out how many white chocolates are left. So Emily eats 2/5 of the white chocolates and 35% of the milk chocolates. So let's work it out. We need to figure out 1/5. So 1/5 of 30 is 6. I got the value of those white chocolates, which was 30. There was only a total of 30 there. Divided it by the bottom number of the fraction, gives me 6. So 1/5 of 30 is 6. I need 2/5, so I times that number by 2. I now times it, that answer, by 2. So 2/5 of 30 is 12. So 30 minus 12 is 18. That's how many white chocolates are left. Because there were 30. Emily eats 2/5 of the white chocolates, and I know the value of 2/5 is 12. So 30 white chocolates minus the 12 that she's eaten, the 2/5 that she's eating, leaves me with 18. What about milk chocolates? 35% is what they've given us. Again, I like to work out the 10% and the 5% and sometimes the 1%, and then I add them all together. So if I know that 10% is 6, 30% is 6 times 3, which is 18, plus the 5 gives me the answer of 21. So 35% equals 21. And I want to know what's left. So 60 minus 21 gives me 39. So 39 milk chocolates are left. So what's the new ratio? I'm going to put these in. So milk, 39. White chocolates, 18. Check this final sentence. Write your answer in its simplest form. So can we simplify this ratio? Yes, we can. Its multiples are 3. So 13 over 6. It can be very wordy, but read through the whole question, then break it down line by line and do the calculations. Don't get caught out. Don't lose focus and miss that last part of the question as well. Okay, so hopefully that was a good walkthrough for you. And now we're going to attempt it. So I've just changed the numbers and the values basically within that question, and I want you to try it for yourselves. So there are 160 milk and white chocolate buttons in a bag. There are 3 times as many milk chocolates as white. Emily eats 3/8 of white chocolates and 45% of milk chocolates. Work out the ratio of the number of milk chocolates to the number of white chocolates now in the bag. Write your answer in the simplest form. And now I shall set the timer. So go, you've got 2 minutes. It's really important to attempt this all. See what feels easy, see what you're struggling with, and keep on practicing. Use your favourite teacher to go over ratios, percentages and fractions if you found this quite challenging. It's really important that you use this opportunity to identify those gaps and take some good action to bridge those gaps. Okay, 1 minute left. So the total value is 60 there. What's that ratio? 3 times as many as milk chocolates as white. We've got that fraction there, 3/8, and a percentage thrown in, 45%. It's the final countdown. Yep, I can't sing either, as well as tell jokes. Okay. Pens down. That is time's up. So let's work through it together. Let's see if you've got the same answers as me. Mine might be wrong. Imagine that. So double check, please. Right, so here's the question. I'm going to work out that ratio. I'm going to line it up so it's very clear to me when I'm doing this question. I don't want to get confused, so I'm just writing everything down in a neat manner so I can refer to it and I can work through this problem. So let's figure out the ratio. Well, it's 3 times as many. So it's 3:1. I know the total value. And I know that there's a number of parts is 4. Okay, so we have that ratio of 120 to 40. Working it out is very simple. I work out one part, the total value, divided by the number of parts, 3 plus 1, which is 4. So I divide it by 4 and I get 40, which is the value of one part. So milk equals 40 times 3. That's where I'm getting the 3. I'm using this value of one part, times it by the total number of parts that are in this milk line. So I get 120. That's why I've put it there. White is 140 times 1, is 40 times 1. The 1 part value times the amount that there are white chocolate buttons, which is 1 part. So it's 40. So how many white chocolates are left? Well, I know that Emily eats 3/8, so I need to work out 1/8. I know that in the bag there are 160, but 40 of those are white because I did this first calculation. So 1/8 of 40 is 5 because 40 divided by that bottom number by 8 is 5. And I need to work out 3/8, so I times that value by the top number. 5 times 3 is 15. So what's left? 40 minus the 15, the 3/8 that she's eaten, gives me the total amount left of 25. So what about milk chocolates? We know that they have 120. I'm going to work out 10%, my trusted way of doing it. So 10% of 120 is 12 and 5% is 6. So 40% is 12 times 4, which is 48, plus the 5% is 54. Yeah? So 48 plus the 5%, which we know is 6, is 54. And again, that total value of milk chocolate minus the 45% that I've eaten, the 54 that I've eaten, gives me 66 left. So what's the ratio? Can it be simplified? No. No, it can't. So we're going to leave it there. Okay? So hopefully that was an interesting look in the exam style questions. You had some attempts. It's very challenging. The biggest takeaways that I can give you is, look, these are problem solving questions. So they're going to display the data, the information in different formats, from fractions to percentages and ratios and so on. And sometimes you'll have the total value and sometimes you won't. So that's why it's really important to read it through once, get a firm understanding to start with, and then go through it line by line, break it down, and make sure you have tidy notes when you're showing your working out. Make it really nice and tidy and aligned so it's easy for you to follow, so you don't make any mistakes. All right? Well done for cracking on this far. Let's keep on going. You're doing really well by keeping doing these tasks. So well done for that. Let's keep on moving forwards, onwards and upwards. So let's go to solving equations recap. And I'm going to give you a minute. So this is a recap. So I'm hoping that you've covered this and you feel relatively comfortable with this subject matter. If you don't, that is absolutely fine. This is why we're doing the webinar as well. It's to refresh, remind. You can also do these tasks to reinforce the learning, earn those ghosts on your favorite teacher if you log in. So think about how to solve the following questions. Really think about it. So question 1, 3x minus 4 equals 17. So how do we solve this? How do we figure out x? Question 2, 6 plus 2x equals 5. Question 3, we have brackets here. Remember that? So 12 equals 3 times the brackets of x minus 2. And 4, we have 3x plus 2 equals x minus 6. Now we have two values of x on either side. So what do we do there? Do we remember? So it's really important that we get these fundamentals in place and then we build on that knowledge to answer the exam questions. Okay, so your minute starts now. Last 10 seconds. Okay. Just spend a moment just to reflect on that. What did you find challenging? What felt easy? Really important that we have the self-awareness as well to understand where we're struggling. Let's pinpoint that so then we can tackle it head on. We don't need to be afraid of not understanding anything. We just need to tackle it head on, but we need to have that awareness of where we're struggling. So was it in question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4? Okay, let's crack on. So let's take that question 1. We have the equation of 3x minus 4 equals 17. The first thing we should be doing is seeing how we can just remove as much as we can, so we just get down to the x and the value. So we can do that by adding 4 here. So we turn it from a minus number, we bring it to the value of 0 and therefore remove it by adding up to 4. But whatever we do here, we have to do on the other side, so we have to plus 4. See, it cancels that one out. So now 3x equals 21 because we've plussed 4, so we could bring it to 3x, but then we have to do it on the other side. So 17 plus 4 is 21. So now that we have that, what's the next step? We need to get it down to x. So if it's 3 times, we need to do the opposite, which is divide. So we divide by that value, 3. So 3x divided by 3 is equal to 21 divided by 3. Cancels out, so we get x equals 7. Okay, so 3x divided by 3 gives you x, but then we have to do 21 divided by 3, that gives you 7. All right. Okay, now we've got 6 plus 2x equals 5. Now the reason why we've added this one is because it doesn't matter where the 2x is and the number and so on. It's still the same process that you go through. Okay, so we know 6 plus 2x equals 5. So it's a plus 6 now. I'm going to minus 6 here to leave 2x by itself. But whatever I do on this side of the equal sign, I need to do on the other. So I need to minus 6 from here. So I've cancelled that out. But then it leaves me with 2x equals minus 1. And I want to work out what 1x is. So then I need to divide that by that value of 2. Cancels it out. And it leaves me with x equals minus half. And I leave it in a fraction. I think it's very tidy like that. Okay, I lean to leaving it as a fraction. Okay, question 3. 12 equals 3x minus 2. Now we need to expand the brackets. Okay, that's the big thing. That's why we've put this question in. Did you struggle with that? Did you know that you were meant to do that? Have that self-reflection? Okay, so if we expand the brackets on that side, we know it's 12 equals 3x minus 6. So I'm going to do the plus 6 plus 6. Cancel that out. So I now know that 3x or 18 equals 3x. I want to know the value of x, so I need to divide it by 3. And that gives me 6 equals x. So therefore x equals 6. Sometimes they position the x's on the opposite side. So be sure to do your workings out as they've set it out, but then repeat yourself here. You know, I know it says 6 equals x, but they want to know what find x is. So to tell them again, x equals 6. Okay? All right, question 4. Now we've got 2 values of x on either side here. What do we do? 3x plus 2 equals x minus 6. Let's remove those x's. Let's get it down to one side. So it cancels it out there. So 2x plus 2 equals minus 6. We're going to leave the 2x by itself. So that means because it's a plus 2, I'm going to have to minus 2. And then I need to minus a 2 here. Minus and a minus is a plus, meaning it goes down the ladder there. So it's minus 8. Right? 2x equals minus 8. Divide it by 2 to get x. So x equals minus 4. Hopefully you're able to complete those tasks. If you didn't, don't worry. It's really good to recognize where you struggled and then take some action. You're doing this webinar, but also go on to your favorite teacher and go through the equations lesson. Okay, let's look through some exam style questions and then I'll set you some questions to do. So let's work through a couple. Okay, find x. Sometimes you will get a triangle. Here we've got a right angle triangle. And we need to figure out the value of x. So what do we do? Well, we know that when you add up all the angles, that it should add up to 180. And we know that a right angle is 90 degrees. So what I've done here is 3x, this angle, plus 2x minus 60 plus 90. Yeah, so 3x plus 2x minus 60 plus 90. And I know that these should add up to 180 because for every triangle, when you add up these two angles, it will add up to 180. Okay, so once I know that, I need to simplify this this expression, okay, into an equation. Well, I just need to simplify it. So the x is here, 3x plus 2x, that gives me the 5x. And then I'm working out this, so minus 6 plus 90 is plus 30. And then I want to remove this 30 to leave the 5x by itself. So whatever I do here, I have to do on the other side. So minus 30 minus 30 cancels out, gives me 5x equals 50. So what is x? Well, I need to divide it by 5 then. So I divide it by 5, x equals 30. I found you. Show your workings out, simplify where you can, break it down, get those extra marks. Okay, so find x. You might be given something like this. Instead of find x straight away, you could get A, write an expression for the sum of angles in terms of x. Then write an equation in terms of x, and then find x. So they can break it down into these three sub questions. So what does an expression look like? Well, basically what I'm saying is 3x plus 2x minus 60 plus 90 equals 5x plus 60. So I'm adding all these together and I'm saying that it's equal to that simplified version. So here is an expression. Now the equation is simply this. Yeah, so the expression, you've got the values of x on either side and so on. So the equation is 5x plus 30, and then find x. X equals 30. This is all the workings from the past sheet. I just wanted to show you that they could give you just find x, or they could break down that question into these three subsections. So first, write an expression, 1 mark. Second, write an equation in terms of x, 2 marks, and then of course find x, 3 marks. All right. Find x. So we have an isosceles triangle there, so we should know that there's something in this in terms of 2 angles and 2 sides should be exactly the same. Take for example this side and that side, because we have this here, it tells us it's an isosceles triangle and that these are equal to one another. The value of these are equal. So my expression of this will be 3x minus 6 equals x plus 2. So I'm going to minus the x's here to bring it into an equation. So 2x minus 6 equals 2. I'm going to plus the 6, so I can leave the 2x by itself. If I do it on one side to cancel out, I have to add it to the other side, which gives me 2x equals 8. And then I divide it by that number to figure out x. So 2x is this, it's 2 times x equals 8. So I need to divide it to find out what x is. So I divide it by 2, which equals 4. Found you. Okay, now the perimeter of this triangle is 28 centimeters. Notice that it's got a unit value there as well. Find x. Let's work it through. So in order to work out the perimeter, I'm just writing it out. We know that you have to add all the sides together to figure out the perimeter. So it's 3x minus 4 plus 2x plus 2 plus x plus 6. I've written it here and it's given us the total value. So I know that's equal to 28. And now I simplify. 6x plus 4 equals 28. Do you know what I did there? Three x, 2x, x, adding them all together, got 6x minus 4 plus 2 plus 6 gives us 4. Yeah, minus 4 plus 2 brings it up to minus 2 plus the 6 brings us up to plus 4. Okay, that's how I worked it out, and that gives us 28 still. So I've written it all out, I've simplified it down, and now I can work it out. So the first thing I do is try and leave the 6x by itself. So I minus the 4. Whatever I do here, I have to do on the other side. So that cancels out and I get 6x equals 24. In order to figure out the value of x, I divide it by 6 to cancel it out. So x equals 4 cm, and please put your unit metric there. If they're putting it in the question, they're expecting you to put it in the answer. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to do that same question. I've just changed some of the values there. You have 3 minutes. Let's see how you do. Okay, the perimeter of this triangle is 36 centimeters. Please begin. You have 3 minutes. Find the area of the triangle. Do you remember the formula to find out the area of a triangle? Really important you know that for the exam. Who's Googling it? We know the total value, so we need to add up all the sides. Oh no, we're finding out the area of a triangle. I don't want to give away the formula here, but you could work out the value of x and then use that. We'll figure it out together. Just under 2 minutes now. Are some of you done already? Not bad. Half of the given time. One minute remaining. Okay, final 20 seconds. And time is up. Let's see how you did. You can use a calculator for this. But we're going to work it out without as well. So first thing I do is I write down everything that I know. So I hinted about starting with the perimeter. So I would write everything down and then I would simplify. So 8x plus 4 equals 36. I'm trying to figure out that value of x so I can use it to work out the area. So I do the minus 4, 8x equals 32, divided by 8. 4x equals 4 centimeters. I'm keeping in that unit, making that very clear. So this is what you should know as the formula for area of a triangle. It's base times height divided by 2. So let's work that out. The base here is 2 times 4. Look. So 2x, I'm doing 2 times 4, just in case you don't know what I'm doing there. Plus the 5 gives me 13, yeah? 8 plus 5 is 13. And here, x, so I'm just put in the value there. So 4 plus 3 equals 7. So 7 times 13 divided by 2 equals 45.5 cm squared. Don't forget that squared, because it's how we show the unit for area. It's squared, and we take into consideration that the primary one was cm, so it'll be cm squared, yeah, centimeter squared. Okay, really important that you add these when you're showing your workings out and as your answer. All right. So now we've got problem solving 4, which we're going to work through. The size of the largest angle in a triangle is 3 times the size of the smallest angle. The other angle is 60 degrees more than the smallest angle. What is the size of the smallest angle? Again, exam questions, they're so wordy and they're there to try and trip you up. I read that once and I was like zombied out. I was like, oh. I was like, okay, so I need to read it through again. And it's okay to do that. The size of the largest angle in a triangle is 3 times the size of the smallest angle. The other angle is 60 degrees more than the smallest angle. What is the size of the smallest angle? Well, I need to start giving it some algebraic values. So let's do that. I'm going to call this smallest angle x. And this one, which is the largest angle, which is 3 times the size of the smallest angle, I'm going to call it 3x. The other angle is 60 degrees more than the smallest angle, so that means it's x plus 60. Okay? So that's the first step. Really strange how some of these questions can be worded. So these are the first things that you need to do. Label that triangle. And then I write it all out. I know that when I add all these together, every triangle, when you add all the angles together, it comes to 180. So x plus 3x, so x plus 3x plus x plus 60 equals 80. I simplify. 5x, I add all the x's together, plus 60 equals 80. What's next? I want to leave the x's by itself. So I minus the 60. If I do it on this side, I have to do it on the other side. It cancels it out. Now I know 5x equals 120. But what is x? I need to divide it by 5. I need to do the opposite, saying 5 times x is 120. So I need to divide it by 5 to find out what 1x is, or x is. There we go. So x equals 24. So what is the size of the smallest angle? Well, it's x. The smallest angle is 24 degrees. Okay, very challenging question, that one. See how they layer some of the questions sometimes. So it's really important, if you don't get it, if you zombie out while you're reading that, have that self-awareness, understand that you didn't get it, and don't be afraid, just go through it again. It will click, I promise you. Right, the area of A is equal to the area of B. Find the perimeter of B. 2 minutes. Do you remember how to do this? The areas are equal, but the perimeters are different. Find out the perimeter of B. Off you go. You have 2 minutes. Okay, 1 final minute. Coming to an end. 2, 1. Stop. Okay, let's figure it out together. Let's see what we did really well, what we struggled with, and hopefully this will help. Okay, so the area of A is, well, one side times the other, right? So it's 4 brackets 3x minus 1 equals 12x minus 4. Okay, and area of B equals 2 times 4x, which equals 8x. So I've just got this, I've expanded the brackets, and that's why I've got 12x minus 4, and area of B, 2x times 4x, so it's 8x, 2 times this. Yeah. And I know that the areas are exactly the same. So what that tells me is between A and B, so area A, 12x minus 4, is equal to area B, which we know is 8x, because we've done this. So let's figure this out. We want to work out the value of x, because that will help us find out the perimeter. So then we need to minus the 8x from one side, the lowest value of x from the other side. And what does that leave us? Well, it leaves us with 4x minus 4 equals 0. But we want to leave the x's by itself, so then we need to plus 4. And if we do it on one side, we need to do it on the other. They cancel each other out, so that gives us 4x equals 4. If we want to work out x, we need to divide x by the number that's next to it here. So x equals 1. And now I can add it into the perimeter. So for perimeter B, it's 2 plus so it's 2 plus 2, because the perimeter is all the sides, so you've got 2 here, plus 4x, well, 4 times 1, which is 4, plus 4, which gives you 12 units, okay? That may be a little bit confusing. Perimeter is adding up all the different sides. We know it's a rectangle, so 2 sides are the same, 2 sides are the same. So 2 plus 2, oh, let me go back. 2 plus 2, and then 4x, we know that the value is 4 there, so 4 plus 4. So 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 2, 10, plus 2, 12. 12 units. I've put down units because they haven't given me a measurement, sorry. So I'm still going to put units in though. So we've worked out the perimeter of B, we're going to move on. This is the final section, guys. You've done really, really well to get this far. I know it's been a long one. Hopefully it's been a little bit of fun and interesting along the way. But you've got 3 questions now, and you can choose to do all 3, or you can just do one. It goes from easy, middling, to a bit more challenging, really. So feel free to choose one, and we'll do it together. So I'll give you a quick minute if you're on this one. Find x. This is a rectangle. So what do we know about the 2 opposite sides? They're equal to one another. So how would you write that? From there, work out the rest. Okay, time is up. So I wrote it down first. 3x minus 4 equals 11. Because it's a rectangle, I know both opposites, both sides are the same. So then I work to simplify. So I plus 4, so I get 3x equals 15. And then I want to know what x is, so I divide 3x by 3, and I have to do the same here. So x equals 5. So I found what x was. Part 2 has got the answers here. So find the size of the smallest angle. So what do? Well, we know that these two here are exactly the same. So if I want to figure out x, I've got something really great here. Because it's an isosceles, then I know that these two are exactly the same, so I can work out x really quickly. So 3x plus 10 is equal to 2x plus 30. So then I just need to simplify here. Minus the x's. Yeah? So once I do that, then I've got x plus 10 equals 30. And I need to minus the 10 to minus here, and then I get x, so x is 20. So knowing that, now I can put that into these individual ones. So 2x equals 2 times 20, the value of x, which is 40 degrees. 3x plus 10 equals basically 3 times 20, because we know the value of x, plus 10. So that's 60 plus 10, which gives us 70 degrees. And of course we're going to get exactly the same doing this one, because they're opposite. It's an isosceles triangle. They are the same value. Add them all together. I know that's 180 as well. So 40 degrees is the smallest angle, which is up here. All right. I'll leave you now to do this one for the final minute. The area of A is equal to the area of B. Which shape has the largest perimeter? One's a triangle, one's a rectangle. What are the formulas and how are they different to working out areas? That's going to be important. Start with what you know. What does the question tell you to be true? Start with that. Write that out. And time is up. Okay, so the area of A, because it's a triangle, we need to do it in this formula. So it's 2 times 4x divided by 2, which gives us 4x. The area of B is one side times the other, length times width. So area of B is 4 brackets 3x minus 2. If we was to expand that, it's 12x minus 8. So we know that the areas are the same. So 12x minus 8 is equal to 4x. Yeah, we know that these two are the same. So let's put all the x's to one side. So minus 4x here, I have to do the same here. So 8x minus 8 equals 0. So I want to leave the ax by itself. So 8x, to do that, I need to add 8. Then I need to add 8 here. So 8x equals 8. X equals 1. Now that I know the value of x, I can start working out the perimeters. Perimeter of A equals 2 plus 4x plus 5x plus 1. So 9x plus 3, because you've got here, I've simplified, yeah. So 9x plus 3, the 2 and the 1. I know the value of x is 1, so 9 times 1 plus 3 is 12. So 9 times 1 is 9, plus 3 is 12. But what about perimeter B? 4 plus 4 plus 3x minus 2 plus 3x minus 2. I simplify this, so I'm adding the x's and the other numbers, so 6x plus 4. I know the value of x is 1, so 6 times 1, plus 4 is 10. So, who has the largest perimeter? It's A. And that is the end, everyone. Thank you so much for participating. It's been an absolute pleasure to deliver this maths webinar. I encourage you to go on this week. This week is competition week, to go on to the Your Favourite Teacher platform and earn those ghosts and reinforce anything that you struggled with within this webinar. Thank you so much for participating, and have a lovely, lovely rest of the half term. Remember, you still got an account with us for 4 weeks in total, including this week. So really, really utilize it, as it will benefit you in the long run, I'm sure. All the best. Bye-bye.